Ermira Lubani. Thank you very much for being with us. So you work with UN Women in the southeast of Europe. Can you explain exactly what you are doing with UN Women?
Thank you so much for having me. I work as a technical advisor for ECA region, which is Europe and Central Asia, on gender responsive budgeting, and I'm managing a gender responsive budgeting project which covers Albania, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Macedonia and Moldova.
Wow, amazing. Can you tell us what gender budgeting is exactly?
We've been doing gender mainstreaming for so many years, and we didn't achieve what all of us wanted to achieve on gender equality. And then practitioners recognized that you cannot do gender mainstreaming if you don't tackle the budget, because at the end of the day, what the politicians are saying all the time, you ask them, show us the money, and then we will see what is the priority. So what we are doing through gender responsive budgeting is mainstreaming gender in the budgetary process, including monitoring and evaluation.
Would you have suggestion of what's the best way of getting gender budgeting implemented at the national or at the international level?
In fact, thank you so much for the question. When we discuss about how do you do gender responsive budgeting, who are the key players? And usually we start with line ministries, and specifically with Ministry of Finance. Well, the Ministry of Finance is the one which make the proper gender mainstreaming in the budget processes. Then you have line ministries, which without them, how the Ministry of Finance will be able to check if the budget match the policy commitments. And these policy commitments in most of the cases has been done through the line ministries, and they are the one which they collect sex disaggregated data, they identify the gender needs, and they do proper gender analysis. And then they are the one which they do the cost of the certain policies, and then they send the full package ready-made to the Ministry of Finance. Well, it's the Ministry of Finance role to check if what they have done is in place. But then you cannot do GRB without involvement of the Parliament, because they are the one which they watchdog the government policies and the budget. But sure, you should involve civil society organizations, which without them, the voice of the most vulnerable will not be heard. And we support quite some initiatives on how to do gender watchdog reports. You need to involve academia, you need to involve gender advocates, so each of them can play a small role in the whole picture of the gender responsive budgeting. At local level, we've been working a lot with mayor's office, with city councillors, with public administration, with civil society and women in the ground. And here I want to mention something which is dear to me, and especially when we talk about gender responsive budgeting, how we can improve participatory processes at local level in order for women from the communities to be able to articulate and to express their needs. And we did quite some campaigns, especially there was one campaign which we said participate, demand, propose, when we went door to women in communities, and we discovered what they need, how much do they know about budget, how much they understand that the budget influence in their daily life.
On that note, would you give us an example of an experience you had in implementation of gender budgeting at the local or national or regional level? And could you tell us what impact it had on the life of women and girls?
In fact, at the end of the day, I want to quote here Diane Elson when we were saying, how do we see the impact that the work of what we are doing on gender responsive budgeting have? And she was saying, follow the money. In Bosnia and Herzegovina, we supported the government to see the subsidies of rural women, and we intervene at national level on changing the way how the scoring of the subsidies was given. And like now in 10 years, I would say that the number is almost 300% more than at the beginning. Or at local level now you have proper interventions done as a result of women participating in participatory processes and asking directly the government on what are their needs. Or in Albania, the number of programs that the government is supporting towards gender equality, it's really increasing. Like now I think they have around 24 programs which they are targeting specific women. And when I say specific women, you see single moms, which they are now benefiting social houses. You have women which they are in prisons and they are receiving specific trainings. You have women in rural areas which now they own like land property is changed because rights is changing because of the GRB work. In Macedonia we had like very interesting experience with women which they are suffered from breast cancer. Now they have like more opportunities to go and do the breast screening as a result of the changes in the budget. So I think it's the only way to really translate all the promises to proper commitments and to budget allocation and the implementation.
What do you think? What is your perspective on the future? Do you think gender budgeting is going to become like the new way we do budget everywhere?
Oh, I wish this will be true. This will be like my nice dream. I think it's getting the momentum. Everyone is talking on gender responsive budgeting, even in the European Development Days. I'm impressed. I'm very happy to see that gender responsive budgeting is one of the topic. And I believe there are more countries now which they are asking, they are demanding gender responsive budgeting. But still, I think it's a long way to go. This is continue to be one of the priorities of UN Women, and we will continue to support GRB initiatives globally. So I believe, I was saying today that I'm one of the fighters on gender responsive budgeting, so it's my wish and my belief that it will happen one day.
We wish so too. Thank you very much, Ermira, for being here with us. Ermira from UN Women. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me, and congratulations to all your work. I'm one of the followers, so I really appreciate everything that you do. So thanks a lot.